At a funeral for one of the victims of Flight 752, the family's grief turned to anger at the sight of the Iranian flag on the casket, a requirement reportedly for the government to release the body. There are shouts of "tear it off," and minutes later the flag is removed, yet another outward display of the raw emotion many Iranians feel toward the government. In recent days, that anger has led to protests in the streets and on social media. This stark image from the crash site has been transformed. The artist added a note written to a young girl, mocking the government's own words. It reads, "Put your shoes on. Looks like that was just a human error. Let's go, my dear."
People make mistakes, unforgivable mistakes, but it happened in the time of a crisis.
Iran's foreign minister acknowledged the protests and admitted the country was lied to about the cause of the crash, but says even he and the president were kept in the dark.
I, as foreign minister, and the president, we didn't know until Friday afternoon.
It took 3 days for Iran's government to admit the plane was shot down. In a televised cabinet meeting, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani urged the military to be transparent about what happened and called for more coordination and monitoring of the investigation. The government today also released this image of Rouhani signing a book of condolence. Meanwhile, in the streets, there were no mass protests Wednesday, just a strong police presence at some of the recent flashpoints. And in a sign that Iran's religious leaders understand the pressure they're under, this Friday, the Supreme Leader himself will lead weekly prayers for the first time in 8 years. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, New York.